Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about the mainstream media, the legacy media, and layoffs, more layoffs. And I think it's becoming more and more apparent that you are the media now. We are the media now. And ever since the re-election of Trump and Elon Musk making that proclamation that, ordinary citizens like ourselves and you and other people that you watch or listen to, that we are replacing the legacy media, we've seen more layoffs. We've seen, a lot more layoffs announced, unfortunately, right before the holidays. But I think what is going to happen is going into next year, the media landscape is going to be so very different that it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep people on, right? The mainstream media has been in decline. Legacy media has been in decline. We're seeing it, cable news networks. We're seeing it at digital media outlets. Google is not even sending a lot of outbound traffic to these websites anymore. And we're seeing it at places like the Washington Post, where Jeff Bezos is frankly getting sick of their shit. And, he's not going to let them officially endorse any candidates on his watch because, he wants that other 50% of the audience, right? They wanted to push Harris, and he knows that some of his readers, probably not a whole lot of them, but they probably endorse Trump, right? And everything has become very divisive and very upended. And, going back to that video we did yesterday with the CEO of Axios having a meltdown, like a full-blown meltdown at the National Press Club. And then MSNBC being like, this paper's important or that paper's important or we're all important, guys. We're all so damn important. No, you're actually not. Your corporate owners don't think a lot of you are important, and you're not pulling your own weight. And the public is tuning out, turning off. And this is what happens. So we're gonna talk about the massive number of media layoffs just this week. And again, I'm not cheering this on, right? I do believe that the media is fundamentally broken. I think a lot of us can agree that the mainstream media is broken. I think a lot of the people that try to pass themselves off as journalists are really not much better than people like us, who just give opinions on the news, except they're, vetted and sitting behind the desk at a multi-million-dollar studio. But, I think the public is over it. I really do. I think people like Joe Rogan, podcasters and YouTubers, even X users or, other posters, people using Substack, whatever. We are the media now, 100%. And people are going to start listening to the voices that resonate with them, that they think they can trust, and they don't trust the mainstream media. So, I think we're going to see a massive decline, especially over the next 4 years, as people tend to lose more trust in these institutions. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownfishminus.com. We've got more podcast content out there that you won't find anywhere else. We also have our merchandise. We got some new merch here. We got some handful of signed items left. Actually, I think the Steves might be gone. I'm not sure. But we do have some signed items, very limited number of those. We got new mugs, beanies, hats, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. Check it out, clownfishminus.com. And if you join the Reef, you get exclusive videos and podcasts that you will not find elsewhere, except for locals, because we're basically just mirroring the same content on locals. If you prefer to support us over there, it's much appreciated. So yeah, let's go through all the layouts, right? This is last week. Press Gazette, future of media. Well, there isn't much of a future. News media job cuts 2024 track. Dash Meredith lays off 53 people while the AP plans buyouts. Big losses at the Messenger, the LA Times, Sports Illustrated, and Media House Ireland started in 2024. So August saw several publishers making layoffs, including Gannett, Time, Axios. That's why the CEO is so frantic. Tampa Bay Times, New York PR, and Hollywood Reporter. In September, Press Gazette estimates said there have been at least 2,500 jobs cut in the UK and US media this year so far. 2023 was 8,000 jobs. They said all types of publishers feature on the list below, from legacy newspaper brands to digital natives, and from commercial operations to nonprofits. Yeah. Associated Press is cutting 8% of their staff through layoffs and buyouts. So if the AP is cutting people, you know it's pretty bad, guys. You know it's pretty bad. This comes from the Guardian, which is very, very good at begging for money. I don't know how good they are at it, but they're always begging for money, guys. For 50 cents a day, you can support a journalist who can scream at you and call you all kinds of names. You got to keep these people employed. The Associated Press announces Monday that plans to reduce its workforce by 8% through a combination of voluntary buyouts and layoffs. An internal email obtained by The Guardian, the AP's president, Daisy Veerasingam, how do you pronounce that? Veerasingham. Veerasingham? Looks like Veergasm. Informed staff that adapting to industry challenges requires making some difficult changes so we can invest more fully in our future. What future? What future? We all know this is a time of transformation in the media sector. Our customers, both who they are and what they need from us, are changing rapidly. Yes, just say it, just spill it. People are leaving. They're abandoning legacy media for social media, for independent voices, for podcasters, for YouTubers. People streaming out of their basements are getting more views than major cable networks right now. I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth. Why would you pay how many thousands of people to work your newsroom, your organization? How much per year? Just think of all the money and salaries that they're, you know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, you can have a person, just themselves or a skeleton crew, again, racking up more views. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand on YouTube. I've seen relatively small outfits it just destroy the mainstream media on YouTube when the playing field is level. Then what happens is YouTube deboosts or shadow bans some of those YouTubers because God forbid we make NBC feel bad. We don't want to make NBC feel bad. So this is why we focused on delivering a digital-first news report. We now need to accelerate this path. You're not going to be able to compete. You're too bloated. These organizations are too bloated. Again, a handful of people or one person can do the job of an entire newsroom now and reach more people. The email continues, as we modernize our products and operations, we will eliminate some positions across the organization. They said the changes will affect about 8% of the company's workforce. Fewer than half of those changes should affect the news division. The not-for-profit news agency said it would offer a voluntary separation plan to a small number of eligible staff based on their departments, roles, and length of employment, in addition to eliminating certain positions throughout the organization. According to the Wrap, there's about 121 people that could get the buyout offer. I know this is difficult news, and there will be a period of uncertainty as we work through these changes. We are communicating about these actions now because transparency is a core value of this organization. The AP leadership team is committed to supporting our affected colleagues and working quickly and thoroughly to limit uncertainty as much as possible. Evolving as an organization is not easy, but it's necessary. Yeah, they can read the tea leaves, guys. They know everything is changing. Everything is falling. Like, I don't think they're broadcasting their numbers or their views or whatever metric they have at the AP now. I used to be pretty friendly with the AP when I used to work at newspapers, and actually some of my stories got picked up by The Wire. But whatever their internal metric is now, I guarantee you it's dropping. If MSNBC is losing 40, 50% of its audience and CNN's bleeding out, 30, 40% of its audience, I guarantee you they're losing people too. Nobody trusts the media now. Nobody trusts the media. They said this is about ensuring the AP's important role as the only truly independent news organization at scale during a period of transformation in the media industry. They're all admitting it now. Hurst is laying people off. Again, this is just yesterday. This is coming from Intelligencer, but on November 21st, 1 week before Thanksgiving, the president of Hurst magazine sent an email to employees in order to better position our organization and respond to ongoing changes in the industry. You sensing a theme here? A bunch of them would soon get the axe. Those affected would receive a private meeting invitation from HR by 9 a.m. As 9 a.m. came and went, staffers who didn't receive the meeting request sighed a breath of relief. But then at 9:35, there's another email telling staff that due to a technical difficulty, there was a delay in the deployment of calendar invites. Some staffers didn't get an HR meeting invite until an hour or more later. Yeah, so they thought they were safe. 192 people were laid off. Editorial, ad sales, product, and PR. Again, all these people working for these organizations that are bloated and hemorrhaging viewers, readers, subscribers, and individuals or very small teams can do the exact same thing. And it hit them so hard, so quickly. I mean, really, it just took, and I'm gonna say it again, it took Musk buying X to really blow the doors off of this thing, to just show how corrupt the mainstream. A lot of people speculated the mainstream media was corrupt. They speculated that they were conspiring with the Fed or certain political parties, right? But it wasn't until Musk bought X that we saw how much influence the Fed especially had on social media. And then, Twitter was being used to disseminate information from these different media outlets, and they were all in lockstep, and they would all push the same stories, same time. It was, pretty dystopian, actually. You were not allowed to question any of the narratives, or you were an alt-right bigot, Nazi, Yahtzee, whatever, practically Hitler, probably a racist, and an anti-vaxxer or something. I'm saying, like, they just kept piling labels on the people. It used to be you're a Nazi. Now it's you're an anti-vaxxer and a transphobe. Because the Nazi thing doesn't stick anymore, because we got so many people on the left now who think hating Jewish people's cool. So anyway, so I guess that's probably why they do it, right? But yeah, they're like, all these people are getting laid off. 17, Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan, 17 are basically sex magazines now, by the way. It's really pretty gross. Like, Cosmopolitan used to be like, here are some makeup tips, and here's how to mix a cocktail for your boyfriend. Now it's like, yeah, they're talking about cock, but something completely different, right? So they're getting laid off. What do we got? Now This. Well, they're gone. Progressive news outlet Now This made deep cuts to its staff for the second time this year. It's come from Business Insider. They actually, was it Now This or Cheddar? One of those millennial news outlets actually picked up one of our early YouTube videos. I'm not kidding. They actually picked it up and got millions and millions of views on it. We didn't get millions of views, but they got millions of views. And it was my son and I playing Monopoly for Millennials. And that was years ago. That was 2018 or something like that. And we were making fun of it. And he wasn't that old back then, but we were roasting the hell out of this game. And they picked up the video, and people were actually offended that we thought it was stupid. Notice how I don't think they make that game anymore. Now This laid off about half of its unionized newsroom, marking the second deep round of cuts this year. Yeah, being unionized actually puts you in the crosshairs. And, so I'm going to tell you, because what the truth is, you cost more. And in a lot of cases, they'd rather just buy you out than have to pay you more. And I've seen this time and time and time again. People are like, yay, we're unionized. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't mean that you're going to get job security. Actually, it means you cost more now, and they're just going to have to pay to buy you out. And this has happened many times. The layoffs affected 13 Now This 21 WGA East members. A decline in advertising has led to widespread media layoffs. Yeah, because people aren't watching, reading your stuff. They don't trust you anymore. You can charge whatever the hell you want to for advertising if you get eyeballs. Do you think Joe Rogan has a problem getting sponsors? I don't think he does. I really don't think he does. Now This recently laid off about half of its unionized newsroom, the second round of deep cuts this year as the progressive digital news outlet collapses. 13 of Now This's members from WGA East were impacted. Layoff staffers were notified on November 15th. Yeah, it's all coming out now, right? This has just been the last week. 3 people on the sales side were also let go. They asked for anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak publicly about the cuts. Their identity is known to the Business Insider. Spokesperson for Now This confirmed the layoffs to Business Insider and said the company remained committed to making impactful content. In September, Now This hired a new editor-in-chief who used to work for MTV, and they're looking to shift focus to Gen Z audiences. Well, Gen Z is not going to put up with a lot of your woke bullshit. I mean, they can be, but I don't think they're as bad as millennials overall. But that was the thing. Like, Now This was a progressive, woke, millennial digital news outlet. I mean, it was basically a parody of everything you would expect it to be. And it's making as much money as you would expect it to make, right? Typical digital media startup that went bust. And yeah. They said they were once a fast-growing digital news outlet aimed at young consumers that soared in popularity by making short-form text on-screen videos that amplified on social media accounts. It joined Vox Media through Vox's 2021 acquisition of Group 9. Vox spun Now This off in 2023 through a deal with Accelerate Change, a nonprofit focused on promoting civic engagement among underrepresented groups. I can't imagine why it failed. A nonprofit for social justice, and yeah, they retained a minority stake. So they were going to ramp it up to cover the 2024 election. Accelerate Change is backed by progressive organizations such as the Open Society Foundation, which was founded by George Soros. And it failed. I can't imagine why. Okay, so that's one. Hurst. We got Hurst. We got the AP. So many more, guys. Oh, Geo Media laid some people off too. Dash Meredith laid off 53 people. Yeah, 2 writers were laid off from Kotaku. Managing editor wrote on Blue Sky. Of course, Blue Sky. Geo Media's management is once again punishing workers for its own bad decisions. Management mandated that some workers stick to service posts. And now that the numbers aren't panning out, surprise, surprise, 2 of those writers have been laid off. Cruel and misguided. Unsustainable. It's not cruel or misguided. It's unsustainable. People are not reading your shit. People are not watching your shit. And YouTubers and podcasters are eating your lunch. And I feel vindicated because for years we've been dealing with mostly ass-mad journalists who are furious that we existed outside of the bubble, not realizing that I used to be a real journalist myself. In fact, I probably have more experience than a lot of them had. But regardless, it doesn't matter where I came from. It doesn't matter where my wife came from. It doesn't matter what we do, even though we actually own multiple independent news sites too. None of that really matters. What matters is people are looking for independent voices. And it doesn't matter if you're someone like us or you're just somebody who just wants to talk about, their worldview, their politics, things that they're seeing in the world, whatever. Maybe somebody that is an expert in another field, whatever it is, people are tuning into authentic voices. They're not tuning into the legacy media anymore. And the numbers are dismal. And I think next year is going to be absolutely catastrophic for them. And I have to wonder how many of these places are waiting until after Q4 to really bring down the axe. Because Q4 is when the advertising rates are the best. And they got, keep people on staff to produce content to get as much ad revenue as they can. And then they'll just chop them in January, February of next year and say, hey, we don't see a path forward. And that's what you got to do. And it's unfortunate because, I had to lay people off recently with our sites because Google basically shut the traffic off. They decided that they weren't going to send any outbound traffic to any independent websites that weren't playing ball with Google. This is why you're seeing Reddit and Quora and all these other sites come up first, because they've made deals with them to train their AI. And so what they're doing is they're just using AI snippets now, and they're not actually sending traffic to websites as much as they used to. So it's going to hurt these guys too. We're just going to pivot what we do. We're going to keep doing what we do, video and podcasts and stuff like that. But these big organizations, they're too damn big. They cannot steer away from the iceberg fast enough. So it's over for a lot of them, I think. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Please subscribe. We will talk later.